guys ready? Clean break. Okay, ESL Cup Americas, number 64. This is the third for Americas. Last week we had iNSUPERABLE win. The week before that we did have Krav. Will iNSUPERABLE be able to take the 2-time, or will it be Hitman getting the 1-time? Certainly the favorite in this matchup. We'll check out the tail of the tape for these two players. 24 against 25, although I do think Hitman's birthday was recently. We can see an 87% win rate against iNSUP. Does Hitman have? ORC against Undead. USA against Canada. We'll see. Can iNSUP upset the favorite? Going into game one, it will be on Northern Isles. Here we go, guys. Best of 5. Wait for it. There we go. We do have the American ORC player, Hitman, in the bottom left of Northern Isles. And in the top right, we do have the orangutan, the orange. Undead, it is iNSUPERABLE. This is a Ted Fiends opener, so expect a Death Knight. Expect, of course, a Blade Master from the side of the American. Here. There you guys go. There, you guys. I did it myself, all right? I did it myself. There you guys go. All right, took time out of my grand finals to do the predictions for you guys. Okay, Blade Master coming out. Death Knight coming out as expected. Acolyte going to scout all the information. Wants to see the creep route, of course. Wants to maybe potentially cancel a salve. It's about the most you can hope for. A last hit is insane. Hey, Lucky Lucas with the tier 1 for 3 months. 6 and totally says 6 months. Let's go. Half a year. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. Shop coming up. On 20 supply does indicate that Hitman's going to take this whole camp. Expect to see critical strike first to creep to level 2 from the Blade Master. Death Knight probably going to do the same creep route. We'll see. Will this Acolyte be able to delay much at all? That's really the first sort of exchanges that could happen in this. Of course, is critical strike first, as expected, and green camp exchange from both players, as expected. So far, so clean by iNSUP, not getting anything purged. Hitman not getting anything stolen by the Acolyte, so both players starting off the grand final pretty well. No mistakes made. No mistakes made. This will be level 2. Acolyte and snares. Hitman's going to commit to it. Doesn't, of course, want to get his salves canceled. Wants to kill that Acolyte, get that 25 experience. And he will snag it. iNSUP going to be level 2. Claws of Attack, of course, is great. And Gloves of Haste is not the best, not the worst for Hitman. Base is blocked. First Fiend coming out. Tier 2 tech for both players. Hitman going to be a little bit ahead, I believe. Yeah, just slightly ahead on that. We'll see. He's going to buy a circlet. Can't really go to the marketplace. Doesn't have the time. Oh, in the shop, or pardon me, the expansion could be crept out, but Hitman gonna try to steal the Murloc. Does assume that iNSUP maybe wants to take his expansion, which is why he's doing this, which is what seems to be what iNSUP is doing, but the Grunt is on the tail of the Death Knight. Bunch of potions going to be great for Hitman. And both Murlocs are being exchanged. A little bit unorthodox, from what I understand, but it's going to be snagged, going to be gobbled up. Hey, Zubat, the Pokemon. Appreciate you. With the Prime, first time Primer. Thank you very much, man. Good to see you, good to meet you. Glad to have you here. Appreciate you. Expansion going to be stolen. I doubt the Blade Master can get the whole camp. If he could, that would be level 3, which would be incredible for Hitman. But iNSUP is going to get his own level 3. He's got wards in the middle. Can put a ward down possibly at the expansion or the Tuskar to try to secure that creep camp. But the Grunt sees all. And you know what? This Blade Master is going to get level 3 on time. And you know what he can do if he wants? He's probably going to be able to cancel the Slaughterhouse. We'll see if Hitman goes for that play. But he could do this. He has the timing. And yep, Tuskar is taken. Ward is used to secure the Tuskar camp for INSUP, who gets a greater mana, so this opening is great for both players. Hitman's coming down, and if he's able to steal one creep here, of course he'll deny that level 3, but INSUP smartly just runs away because he had that ward that I mentioned. Nicely played from INSUP, but Hitman has his level 3. So he's happy just to right-click these fiends. Look at the blade control. Forces a coil with just the blade. The grunts are going around the outside to see if they can triple block, but the skeleton going in as well for a block of zone. But watch for the grunts. This might have to be a town portal. There's a greater mana, of course, but hate to have to use that before you have level 2 coil unlocked. And this fiend, I doubt Hitman's going to let this fiend get away. Coil. And town portal out. A smart choice by INSUP. He was really not going to get past that grunt wall. Wakes up the creeps towards the tail end, but I think Hitman's happy just to creep this. Although it's going to steal away a camp from the Shadowhunter. His Shadowhunter is actually perfectly on time. The Blademaster wind walks away. And this is going very well for Hitman, I would say, with that town portal being forced, with the creeping being so fast already for the Shadowhunter. But the Lich is out. INSUP seems to be going for the Marketplace, which is a good timing to do so, because he's got that Frost Armor unlocked.
A player's forces are under attack.
And the shop is going to be taken. And you know what? Hitman not in position. He's trying to snag the Tuskar, but honestly, I think INSUP's willing to take this trade if he can get the whole shop. One mana stealing taken. Hitman very efficient with his creeping, going to immediately pull the Scorpions. But INSUP going to get this camp. Uncontested, Sobi Mask, really good mana items for the Canadian. And here's Hitman, but too little too late, and the ward again is going to see all. There's no Nova yet, so Hitman doesn't have to be too scared, but certainly has to be scared enough to give up the remainder of that camp. Shadowhunter getting close to level 3, won't be quite there yet. I'm interested to see what his last camp will be to get that level 3. Will he go to the Marketplace? Because in the meantime, INSUP's going to get, or rather, would he go to the lab? Because INSUP's going to get the Marketplace. Level 2 coil, of course, to secure this. There is Healthstone, and, you know, he doesn't need much more mana than he has right now with the Sobi and the greater mana, so getting the Healthstone is nice for INSUP, honestly. The item's certainly going INSUP's way. Hitman getting a ring, and getting a Wand of Illusion, it seems, from that camp. And he is going to take the lab away. This is going to be just level 3, but INSUP, is he going to give him the time? INSUP could be here in time to coil steal this last, this Furball Tracker, as they're called. Tier 3 done, of course, Torn Chieftain on the way, and Tier 3 done for INSUP. Going to get probably a Dark Ranger soon. But he is going to get the Tracker. He is going to get the Claws +9, and Hitman's going to get away. Still has to get that Orb before he can start going for these statues, probably. But INSUP got level 2, a little bit down on experience, and you can see the creeps. Hitman has his lab still. He can take these spiders probably more easily, so INSUP's going to be down when it comes to creeping in the mid-late game. So we'll see if that comes into play. One last hit, nicely done. Orb picked up. No town portal, remember. That may come into play in the future. Torn Chieftain out. That orb on the Torn Chieftain as well. Very important for his Kodo out as well. No Raiders for Hitman. And no Destroyers yet for INSUP. Still trying to get that second statue into play. Does have it now. Does he have his Destroyer upgrade? Does not yet. But he's going to be able to afford that third hero. Is he going to go for a fight? Perhaps he's trying to contest this camp, but it's a little too late. Crystal Ball picked up from that camp. Orb still needs to be passed. Invuln still is up for grabs for either player note at the shop. And Hitman probably needs Dust as well. Actually, no Burrow for INSUP, but wouldn't be surprised to see him do that. There's the Burrow. And Torn Chieftain trying to get that aura, but it's going to take a red camp to creep up to that level 2 Torn Chieftain. Whereas INSUP maybe could even get level 3 Lich off this camp if the Blademaster isn't stealing everything away from him. But looking to be in position, and Hitman threatening the fight with just the 2 heroes. Very unorthodox play, but the Torn Chieftain is coming to meet up with the rest of the army now. But INSUP slowly but surely getting the remainder of this camp, and now there's only red camps on the field, so is there going to be a fight, an expansion, or people trying to go for the red camp? It seems Hitman is saying, let's just both take red camps. I'm happy to creep. I'm happy for you to leave me alone. I want to wait till my tier 3 kicks in till I can get above 50 supply. He's getting Spirit Walkers soon, so he's happy to wait around, but INSUP, I'm sure, happy to maybe snag Khadgars here. Could be a great item for INSUP, certainly. And he's going to be a little bit faster on the creeping as well. Could maybe find a time to push into the main base after the red camp. This could be a make it or break it item. The auras are, of course, a little bit worse than they once were, but still very strong to grab those. INSUP going to get. The items have been good so far. Medallion of Courage, not terrible. We'll see what Hitman gets. It will be Legion Doomhorn. That's a lot better. That's a lot better than the Medallion. But Torn Chieftain level 2. Blade Master almost level 4. One skeleton will do it. Both players seemingly ready to fight. Does Hitman have invulns? He has one invuln. Would love a second, probably. INSUP would also love one as well. Still has that Healthstone, of course. Going to buy Dust. Is it on cooldown? Yeah. Invuln is on cooldown. Remember, the marketplace can now spawn auras, bone chimes, but it would be a big investment. And, of course, there's a lot of range in the army of Hitman, so maybe not worth it. Speed scrolls away. Hitman not quite ready to fight. Wants to heal up with a couple of low units that he does have. Blade Master also. No dust, but we can see he's going for reinforcements. Reveal. 2 fiends out of position. Hitman's going to kill possibly both of these. Certainly one. He does kill one. And he could do this all day, which is why INSUP cannot really push, because the army would speed scroll away, and Hitman would pick off reinforcements until the cows come home. Misses the dust. Wow. I'm surprised he was out of range there, statue. Out of position. Invuln, remember. Very important. Honestly, worth selling an item. He drops the Invuln to pick up the next Invuln. A nice play from Hitman. I was going to say, very crucial for him to get that. Against the Silence, a Coil Nova on the Shadowhunter can be deadly, especially a nuke on the Torn Chieftain could be deadly, so having that second Invuln. Important for Hitman. Oh, there's the Dust. Coil Nova. Not going to be able to force that invuln, but nice damage on the Blade Master perhaps before a fight, but the whole map is crept out. Now we're in a position that we saw INSUP and Kiwikaki get into. Do you expand? Do you push the main base? Or do you sit in your main base? Or do you take a fight in the middle of the map like gentlemen? It seems to be the option. 60 supply against 58. No heal scrolls for Hitman, which would be the ideal thing to have. INSUP does have that greater mana, remember. So he's got lots of coils in this fight. And Hitman seemingly does not want to fight. He reveals the expansion because this would be a typical time for the undead to go for an expansion behind this mid-map control. Torn Chieftain gonna eat a silence. Perhaps he's trying to bait the silence right now, but INSUP's not biting. Very nicely done by INSUP to not early silence. Hitman would have just ran away. But he actually eats a stomp because a Hex on the Dark Ranger allows him to get that money stomp. A very nice start to the fight. The Kodo take a lot of damage. The second Kodo eats. Burrows. There's no Dust of Appearance. There is on the Torn Chieftain, but the first Kodo falls. Headhunter falls as well. Statues being focused, but there's 3 of them. It seems INSUP doing very well in this fight so far. Nice stomps again, though. Silence again on, it seems to be, yeah, the Shadowhunter was silenced there. Fiends are falling. Destroyer in the air to get rid of the Spirit Link that there is. Headhunter is falling again. The Kodo does have a Fiend in his belly trying to back away. The Banshees have cursed seemingly everything, and there's not enough mana on the Spirit Walker to get rid of all these debuffs. The Fiend comes back from the Kodo. And Hitman still has his 3 grunts up in the air, but is INSUP going to press forward? 60 against 49. INSUP certainly trading favorably, and he's still got lots of coils too. Maybe INSUP going to take game 1 if something doesn't go horribly wrong right now. It's still not the end of the fight for Hitman, but INSUP trading fairly well thus far. Raider going to fall, and Grunt falls. A Fiend was traded, but Hitman has to run away. The Shadowhunter needs to buy Clarities, needs to buy Mana Pots, and INSUP doesn't need to buy either because he's got 4 coils, 3 coils left. Going for the Death Knight. Remember, no Town Portal. I said it may come into play, and it might just do that. Coil on the Fiend. The Raider potentially going to fall, but the Shadowhunter is close to his shop, and there's double invuln still for Hitman, so his heroes are safe. INSUP, is he overextending? Got to kill this Raider before he can back away. Illusion's fighting a Skelly in the back. The Destroyer maybe a little overextended, but the Walker's going to fall. Statue's working overtime. Destroyer does fall, but it has kind of done its job already. And Hitman trying to hold on. The Burrows are fighting. As soon as that statue falls, another one comes in. INSUP microing very well. 38 against 49 supply. And Hitman's trying to pick off units. The Kodo could eat as well, but I feel as though it'd be focused down right away. And iNSUP's really pressing forward. Level 4, level 3, trying to go for a surround, but not going to do so. There's going to be a level 2 stomp soon. And iNSUP only has 1 coil left all of a sudden. Hitman seems to have held on. Blade Master going. Remember, double invuln still was not forced in that fight, so Hitman really only needs units and mana, whereas iNSUP needs invulns, he needs mana, he needs probably a couple more banshees, maybe another statue here. So Hitman's happy to fight now that he has mana pots and clarities running on his Shadowhunter. Disenchant to get rid of the curse. Banshee falls, Destroyer about to fall. Last coil used on that Destroyer. 1 stomp could be massive here. The Kodo could eat as well behind that stomp. Damage. Still relatively even armies. 36 against 46, actually. 10 supply down, but the heroes are very strong right now. Block from the Skelly. Potentially, Shadowhunter might be forced into an invuln. Oh, use it or lose it, and he does dodge that last coil with the invuln. Very important to force that, actually. It cannot be used on this Fiend now that's dying. Wow, Hitman really, really holding on. Killing a Banshee. Doing it all with the heroes right now. iNSUP been out of coils for a while. Might have to go back home, honestly. Still has a supply advantage, but an undead without coils cannot really win the fight. Fiend gonna fall. Could be burrowed, frost armored potentially, but no, is gonna go down. And a purge on another one. Shadowhunter has plenty of heal waves. Gonna use 1 there. Almost a coil. And there is a Nova. Hitman has to be afraid of the nuke. Could actually go on this Kodo that's being salved up now. And iNSUP does finally back off. Where are the statues? Of course, they were picked off brilliantly by Hitman, but they are going to be reinforcing now. That would have given the Death Knight quite a few more coils in the long run of this fight, but that's why you kill them as the Orc player. Level 5 almost on the Blade Master. 4.5 on the Death Knight. Is Hero Nuke the way back in? Seemed to go for the Shadowhunter for a second. Gonna kill the Kodo and actually a Headhunter right away before losing everything, but the Kodo gonna be C-scrolled away. Hitman being very, very conservative with his stomps, not using them too often. Just kill a second Fiend. These Raiders are helping out so much, and again, there's only 1 coil for iNSUP. Fiend about to fall. Nice Nova, about to pick off 2 Raiders potentially. If you pick off those Raiders, you can start to kite this army and stuff, but he kills 1 of 2. Blade Master not able to kill that Fiend because of the curse. Level 5 on the Blade Master, though, is going to start critting like mad. And again, iNSUP seems to be forcing Hitman away. The supplies are dead even, guys.
A player's forces are under attack.
Salving up. iNSUP bought that 1 invuln from the shop. Northern Isles a single shop map. Reinforcements coming for both players. Hitman needs to get back home to his shop because he doesn't quite have enough mana, at least on the Shadowhunter. The Torn Chieftain has quite a bit. Blade Master trying to pick off reinforcements with the curse is very strong because the walkers have been dying. As I say that, a nuke on a walker, iNSUP prioritizing those just like Hitman prioritizes the statues as one falls to the back. Coil kills a Headhunter. Hitman's trying to buy time. He wants to get mana, could go and kill this Fiend. Potentially would cost him a reveal because he doesn't have dust on the blade. But, oh, the Banshee could be 2-shot Fiend. Or coil, rather, used. But look how quickly the blade kills those Banshees. Kodo dies. Disenchant on the curse, but recursed immediately. Raider gonna fall. Banshee's being picked off right away. Statue in the back on mana, very important. No town portal again, I say, for iNSUP. Fiends falling. Oh, there's only 1 coil left. The Shadowhunter has a mana pot. I think this is going to go towards Hitman now. There's going to be another stomp. I think Hitman has just done it. There's 1 coil. It's probably going to use on this Fiend. It does fall. He's going for a nuke on the Shadowhunter, which is a great play, a great attempt, but everything's starting to fall for iNSUP. He has no way of getting away from this Blade Master currently, and the Shadowhunter is going to come back in. Has a Hex. Heal wave to save it. And I think we're going to see a hero focus very soon. He's killing a walker, but yeah, here's the focus on the Death Knight. Going to be using that Hellstone. Use it or lose it. There's going to be a stomp. Uses it now, but here's a stomp coming in. There's going to be a Hex to follow up. Dodges the stomp with an invuln that was passed. There is one coil now to save one of these heroes. Perhaps use it aggressively on the Blade Master, go for a surprise nuke, but there's a heal wave, there's an invuln still. And how do you get away from the Raider? How do you get away from the Blade? I don't think you do. Remember, there's still a coil. There's about to be a Nova. There is a coil Nova. One last-ditch effort. Perhaps go for a nuke on that Blade Master. I think that is the play for INSUP, or you're going to lose this game. Going for the... Actually, coils... Oh, the Lich. There is a Nova Frost Armor, but this will be probably a dead Death Knight. Look how low the Blade Master is, though. But the Death Knight is going to fall. There's still a Raider here. INSUP trying. There's a Nova. Surprise Nova, but invuln used. A nice attempt from INSUP to try to kill that Blade Master. There is no heal wave, so the Blade Master actually has to get away. Oh, is he going to be able to kill the Blade? Nope, not quite. There's the Ensnare. There is a Stomp as well. Actually doesn't even need it to land that Surround, but Nova to get out. And the Lich is going to fall. And we're going to see GG for game one. A nice game, a lot of fights. Wow. Nice game one from these two players. But Hitman's going to take it in the long run. Held on, held on, held on. Blade Master picked off reinforcements and eventually gets the win on Northern Isles. But still a best of 5, a lot of series to be played yet. We'll see what map 2 is for INSUP. And my game's bugged again. That was a great game. I mean, INSUP held on for a very long time. He was very close to winning those fights, but with the burrows reinforced, with the shop in the back, Hitman just... You really need to just keep your heroes alive, keep them safe, and eventually your Blade Master just picks apart the reinforcements. And Hitman did it beautifully there. He really did. Going into game 2, I will see what it's on. Interested to see if either player vetoed Autumn Leaves or Tide Hunters, or if Hitman went for the Echo Isles veto, the standard, in this matchup. Maybe INSUP vetoed one of those, and Hitman probably vetoed Echo Isles, so we're probably going to see if it goes the distance, one of those two maps, Autumn Leaves or Tide Hunters, the new maps. Those players are ready. Here is game 2 of this best of 5. $100 for the winner, 10 EPT points for the winner, 5 EPT points for the loser for second place regardless. So both players getting something out of this. Amazonia will be map 2. Certainly a good map for INSUP to go to in this matchup. And we'll see. Is he able to put the pressure on? Apparently it's the wrong map, not Amazonia. We will have a rehost, because it's not Amazonia. Oh, because Amazonia is not even in the map pool. Right? Or no, sorry, it is in the map pool. TM and TS aren't in the map pool. Yeah. Oh, no. Gotta relaunch my game again. Very fun, very fun. Yeah, if INSUP could just have potentially, like, what you need is in those big fights, you need to get a hero kill. Whether it be the TC on level 1, whether it be the Shadow Hunter, with the Silence Coil Nova, you need to eventually try to get a hero kill with a Sneaky Coil Nova, or else the heroes just really carry for the Orc. Alright, there we go. Alright, here we go. This will be Last Refuge. Last Refuge for map 2. Will INSUP be able to tie up the series? This is one of those maps that we've seen INSUP do weird cheeses on before, tower rushes, which are very much a possibility as not a bad strategy to go for a tier 2 all-in against Orc. Hitman's even said it himself. if the circumstances are correct, but we'll see, will he switch it up, or will he just try to play a little bit more solid? That's all it took, just a little bit more solid in those fights, and iNSUP would have taken game 1. So here we go, last refuge. Give it a sec, there we go. And the bottom left, up 1-0, we do have the orange orc Hitman, and the top right, we do have the Canadian undead iNSUPERABLE. A lot of syllables there, guys, a lot of syllables. Okay, Willie Ted Fiends again will be Blade Master Standard again, so a pretty similar game to last, but a different map. Of course, this map does come down a lot to who gets the shop in the big game. Last game on Northern Isles, iNSUP got the shop and the marketplace, so perhaps he can use that power spike with the Lich on tier 2 to contest these shops, get the consumables, and, you know, maybe get a greater mana potentially. Those consumables did help iNSUP quite a bit in those fights last game, so not that the items were bad for Hitman at all. The items were also very good for Hitman, but the greater mana, the Hellstone, were nice, of course. There's a shop that is a 19 or 16 rather supply shop, so expect to see Hitman just go for the item here, and then probably go up here to the priest. For iNSUP, we'll see if he goes for the priest first or goes for the green camp. Acolyte killing the critter. This critter, is this the critter corpse? Because that means the iNSUP's probably going to go for this. The better choice against this creep out of Hitman just going for the item, because then you can snag the priest before the blade comes up to steal it away from you. Kiro Slays, appreciate that, thank you. That's not going to come out. Rod of Necromancy. Hitman going to snag the item. Will he turn the item hack on? Got Gloves of Haste last game from the initial green camp. Claws of Attack would be the money item here. What's he gonna get? Roulette wheel spins and he hits. Awfully. Ring of Protection. Good for iNSUP though, if you're an iNSUP fan, and we'll see what he gets. Wand of Illusion, Wards, Replenishment Potion, all good here, honestly. Ward's probably the best. Yeah, objectively the best, and that's going to be the best item for the Death Knight, for the Canadian, for the Undead. And we see how this creep route does kind of work out for iNSUP, because the Blade Master of Hitman gets here a little bit late, and you imagine if iNSUP had gone for this green camp first, then gone for the priest, he wouldn't have been able to hit the timing to snag it. Oh, the grunt ran in. iNSUP's aware of it, and with the wards especially, he can deny Hitman from stealing this camp away from him. So iNSUP playing very well. I'd say advantage iNSUP so far. He had the good creep route. He's got the wards to deny Hitman from doing anything tricky. Hitman not able to get that Acolyte even. So slight advantage iNSUP here. Slight advantage. Skeletons. Hitman wants to kill these skeletons. What does that do? It of course allows iNSUP to not be able to scout with them. He has to use these skeletons to creep as well as scout. So if he kills the fresh summoned skeletons, these guys, right, this guy and that guy, whatever, he can't scout with them. That means Hitman can bully him off and go for aggressive creep camps. If he doesn't kill them, then iNSUP can scout Hitman and stop him from taking away these aggressive camps. Very important. We're going to probably see Hitman go back in for these skeletons. We see he's trying to put damage on them so that iNSUP cannot scout with them. Very important. But level 1 harass honestly generally favors the undead, because eventually iNSUP's going to get level 2, and Hitman's still probably going to be stuck on level 1 himself. Dust used, does hit the blade. Coil to confirm this kill could be great, but so much damage taken on the Death Knight. Item does go the way of Hitman. It is a Ring of Protection there. Or sorry, it did go to the Death Knight. Sorry, he didn't have the ring before. iNSUP getting the item. Ensnare, but too much damage taken on the Death Knight and the Fiend to confirm the kill on the Grunt. So that Grunt's going to get away, but block potentially. No, just some damage put on the Grunt. Oh, block here, though. Again, we saw a Town Portal last game because of the Grunt blocks from Hitman, so will iNSUP be able to get away? Doesn't have the aura to outrun the Blade, so eventually it's going to be a coil or two invested to save this Fiend. And the Grunts, again, just like Northern Isles, they're going around the outside. Triple Grunts here to block the Fiend. But iNSUP going around. No Shadowhunter yet, but it will be out in about 35 seconds. Speed Scroll could be invested. Hitman does have one, getting in front of the Fiend. And again, the Grunts go around the outside, and I think this is a dead Fiend, even if iNSUP coils and Town Portals. Gonna invest a coil, but I think it might just be a lot of mana invested for still a Lost Fiend. He's probably going to coil again. Sunk Cost Fallacy in the works, but the Fiend's going to fall, I feel like. There's no two ways about it. Speed Scroll invested, and you know what? The Death Knight might be next on the menu. Going to run into the creeps to try to save the Death Knight. Actually is denied, so nicely done by iNSUP. But that's all the mana invested, and now Hitman can safely creep knowing that he has won this early game Lich Slaughterhouse. Shadowhunter out tier 3 tech in the meantime. And now that power spike we saw last game, 3 Fiends, Frost Armor, Death Knight level 2.5s, give or take. iNSUP could take these camps aggressively. I don't think that's going to exist because we're probably going to see Hitman bully iNSUP off this camp with the Shadowhunter now. Generally, level 1 Shadowhunter is not the ideal way to play, but with the Death Knight being so low, with there being so little coils, we're going to see Hitman do it, potentially a Death Knight kill. Speed Scroll used, another Hex, forcing the Town Portal. Gonna force a potion as well. All Hitman has to do is Windwalk, and then iNSUP has to buy a potion. Does buy a potion either way, and Hitman gonna snag away the Magi. That's why this early game has been so good for Hitman. Maybe gonna lose a Grunt, actually, though. iNSUP coming aggressive again. Hitman has to be careful not to overstay his welcome, and this Grunt is definitely a good parting gift for iNSUP. But does get away, and he's out of Speed Scrolls, so lucky for Hitman that he didn't get anything sort of severely out of position where he had to Speed Scroll. And Hitman gonna go down and maybe creep his expansion, but iNSUP in the meantime could maybe clean up the other shot because Hitman does eventually still need to get level 3 Shadowhunter. Pressure. No creeps being woken up quite yet, but iNSUP's going to do the job himself. Shadowhunter still. This is such a wacky game. Not what you'd expect from Hitman, but level 1 Shadowhunter aggression seems to be the only way to play this right now because he's got to stop iNSUP from getting these shops. No Town Portal. There's no Speed Scroll, though, to follow up on the Frost Armor. So I think iNSUP is safe and sound. Currently, Tier 3 is halfway done, is finished for Hitman, who would love to go grab that orb and maybe take a fight with that orb. Is the chat arguing? What are you guys arguing about? Calm down. It's alright. Grunts. Pressuring. Helping the creeping. Doing all the jobs. Doing the blocking as well to kill that Fiend early game. A lot of value out of these suckers. Hitman. Knows he can't really do anything in the way of stealing creeps, but keeping an eye on the undead army so a Shadowhunter can creep safely. iNSUP. Wants to go back for more. Wants to get this Ogre Magi. He's going to be Tier 3 soon. Probably be popping in the next 20 seconds or so. Buys Dust of Appearance. Remember, no Town Portal, though. Has to be oh so careful, especially when there's an orb on the shop. Just pull the lab, or the Merc Camp out with the illusions. Gonna make it easy for him to creep. Statue comes in, gonna help out iNSUP quite a bit, having that second statue now for mana and health. Scroll the Beast, not really what you're looking for, but of course the Torn Totem, probably not gonna be out for, you know, until about 47, 46 supply for Hitman, probably before his second Kodo. So it's going to be a while before that Scroll of the Beast can be easily dealt with. So maybe a timing for that with the Tri-Hero, with the Orb that's going to be purchased soon, with the Banshees on the way out as well. iNSUP trying to get level 3 Death Knight. Is going to get his Orb. Has to sell some items for it, though. Wants to keep that Scroll of the Beast. We see he is valuing that item, because he knows there's not going to be walkers for a while. We're going to see a Torn Totem go up pretty soon, but not up yet. This will be level 3 Blade. This will be level 2 Torn Chieftain very soon in a red camp. Look how efficient Hitman is. Before he's finished creeping this camp, he already goes with the Shadowhunter to pull the red camp. This is unreal efficiency, but what's also efficient is the orb creeping. Probably Destroyers even soon to creep, and it will be a Cryptlord third for iNSUP. Didn't really hit much of a timing with, you know, either a Pit Lord or a Dark Ranger, so it says why not go into a better late game hero with the Cryptlord with the Impale. But Hitman gets the Medallion of Courage from that red camp, and he's running straight to the next red camp right now. He might just clean up both right away. But iNSUP kind of knows this probably, right? He actually has a ghoul with his army. Hold the boys, getting the Banshees as well. iNSUP could be happy to fight. He just needs a tad more experience for level 2 Death Coil. And then he will be definitely in shape to fight. And you know what? Hitman needs a little bit more to get level 3 Shadowhunter even, so iNSUP could find a timing. He could find a timing. Especially, this is kind of greedy from Hitman. He's getting a little bit low. He just snags both red camps, though. Helm of Valor going to be great in the Blade Master. Cryptlord here, though. A lot of low units. Impale to maybe catch up. Could maybe get one grunt, but a Hex saves the day. Level 2 Death Coil, though, snags a grunt. A nice pick-off for INSUP. The first kill of the game, actually. A 1-for-1 trade now. A Fiend for 1 grunt. 11 minutes into the game. No Town Portal again, though, for INSUP. Hitman happy just to creep up now. He's taken both red camps. He's gotten a lot of value on the map, and he's just happy to take what remainders he does have. INSUP, however, is not going to have the ideal items. Look at his inventories. The Lich doesn't really have anything. Claws here would be great. Circlet, yeah, it's nice, but look at the Lich. Very bare bones, and the Blade Master, very stacked. Look at that, plus 23. Do we see the Torn Totem, by the way? We do have that Torn Totem that I mentioned after that second Kodo. First Walker will be used to break upkeep with. Torn Chief on his way to level 3. Level 3 Lich, though, is great. Oh, Bone Chimes. INSUP just not getting the items that he needs, man. Really not the items he needs. Terrible, terrible items. I doubt even the Heal Ward is going to get much value against someone of Hitman's caliber. He's probably going to kill him right away. Last remaining creeps. There is, of course, the corner turtles, which are always sort of the last remaining camps. We'll see if somebody has the balls to go for them. Oh, this is TC3, though. Hitman finding the scraps to get a crucial level on his third hero. And again, look at the efficiency, pulling the corner camp before he's even done, I think. Okay, he did mess it up a bit, but the idea is what counts, you know? The idea is what counts. Color me a birthday card. You know, that's what counts. Hitman just gobbling up the whole map. INSUP probably going to do that on his side. Cryptlord level 3 would be pretty insane. And how you guys like this? Spike Carapace. Don't see that every day, do you? But as a third hero, of course, it is essential for the Cryptlord. Be a little bit tankier. Manual of Health and Parry up to Vitality. Honestly, not too bad. The Blade Master's already stacked. The Shadow Hunter got Bone Chimes earlier. He's got plenty of mana. A little bit more tankiness on the Torn Chieftain you cannot complain with. Now, INSUP is the one to gobble up the remainder of this camp. Not quite going to be enough for Cryptlord 3, but getting all of his heroes closer to the next level. Heal Scroll as well. No Town Portal note. He preferred to break upkeep INSUP. No reinforcements for Hitman to find, but we see he is sharking around for them. Is there an invuln here? There is. Of course, 2 shops. Quite the luxury for both players. Probably more so for the Orc player. Fiend, look how quick it dies. INSUP does wait, actually, to have a fully efficient coil there. I kind of like that from INSUP. Doesn't coil early because the blade was going to put more damage on the Fiend. And now INSUP being a little bit later for the creeping, the corners than Hitman was. He's caught out of position, and he's not able to actually snag this corner camp. And Hitman already gobbled it up quite a while ago, so could have the first big fight. Remember, 1-for-1 trades so far. 1 Fiend has fallen, 1 Grunt has fallen, Town Portal was forced. That is it this game. And that's why it's 63 against 62 supply. Very equal in army, pretty close to equal in heroes. Just a level 3 Torn Chieftain. Destroyer out of position, though. Not a great fight, though, and there's no silence, but the Impale is big. Destroyer out. Oh, the Torn Chieftain has so many stomps, and this one is no different from the rest, I imagine. The Kodo's in the back, not going to take a lot of damage. Scroll the Beast, we mentioned it earlier, coming into play, but maybe this Walker. Actually, the Walker out of mana, so the Scroll the Beast is going to get plenty of value. Heal Ward, is it? As I mentioned, probably not against Hitman. Destroyer, the stomps. Destroyer trying to devour some of that. Link has done a decent job. The Curse on the Blade Master is working overtime. The Kodo has eaten, both in fact have. The Stomp is good. Maybe the Crippler going to fall almost level 3. One more unit will hit level 3, and then it's going to be a lot more expensive to get back from the tavern, potentially. There's level 3. Fiends are burrowing. There is dust this time around, though. One more Impale. This Impale could be massive. Oh, wait for it. There's the Impale. A huge Impale for INSUP. Does he have that heal scroll still that we saw earlier? He doesn't actually. And Hitman still has a mana pod and a big stomp. Oh, my God. Hitman's killing everything, and this fight is looking to be Orc favored. INSUP's out of coils, losing a lot of Fiends, and Hitman still has mana, still has this crazy blade, and still has safe heroes, and this is what I mean. You can kill a lot of Orc units, but if you don't deal with the heroes, if you don't force the invulns to be used early so you can later on go for a hero nuke, eventually when it gets down to hero versus hero, the Orc is just favored. Orc is just way favored. And yeah, Hitman doesn't have much, but this is all he needs. Gonna probably dust. There's that Fiend going down again. And INSUP runs away, but you can't run away from Raiders. You cannot run away from Hex, Stomp, or Orb. And this is why it gets tough, and the block on the Tauren Chieftain is pretty immaculate so far, but there's a coil from INSUP, nicely saving up the mana to save the third hero. But now the statue's on the menu. The Raider would be a crucial kill for the Undead. The statue even more crucial and even more delectable is going to go down. No real way for Hitman to catch out these units, short of getting a Purge, but statue, pretty easy to pick off if you first hit Purge it. The Berserkers come back in, the Raider comes back in, could maybe snag an Insnare on something before it dies. Heal Wave perfectly, getting the Banshee. Berserker does fall to a nuke, but this is all that's left for INSUP still. And Hitman, 51 supply, even broken upkeep right now. The Mad Lad. Kodo hungry, but there's nothing to eat. Buffet is closed. And Hitman, maybe, honestly, you could just slow expand here, possibly. You know, you would ideally want to go back and buy a tiny when you're this far ahead, but maybe just throw it down. Gonna snag this. These are the last creeps on the map, except for this corner, of course, that INSUP failed to get earlier. Is there a Hex? No. 5 mana short of a Hex, and there's a Stomp. Gotta be careful of that hero focus. INSUP has 1 coil, has the mana for a Frost Armor, but there is certainly enough focus fire to damage through that single coil. And this could be where that single coil comes into play. There it is, but there could be a Hex as well as a Stomp, but again, the block isn't perfect. But the Purge is. Nice Impale. Again, the Impales have been huge for INSUP, but it's going to take more than that to win this, and it's going to take more than 3 heroes to win game 2, and Hitman's up 2-0. Wins Last Refuge. Could be the third and final map. What will it be for INSUP? Perhaps Autumn Leaves for map 3? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and find out, though. (2-0) for the American. Everybody have a sip of water. A lot of talking today. Almost going on 5 hours. I thought it was going to be a quick cup, but 5 hours seems to be the standard for these cups. Luckily, we got a lot of nice games, though. What does that sound? That sound seems to be my computer. Just a fan. Just a weird sounding fan. Might have to clean it out. I gotta get one of those dusters. Get rid of the dust out of my computer. I have yet to clean it out, and I've had it for maybe 3-4 months now, so probably about time to get some compressed air, but it's about time also to go into map 3. Will it be the final map of ESL Cup Americas, number 64 or number 3? If you like counting from 1. Amazonia, will it actually be the map this time? Again, I say it is a good map for Undead, and it will be. So here's map 3. Can INSUP find a way back? Hitman has 3 match points. Here we go. Map 3. In the top right, up 2-0, we do have the American Orc player, Victor, the American Lin Hitman. And spam your Roman numerals for the Orange Undead. He's gonna need them. XXVIIXI. It's INSUPERABLE. Head Fiends again, Blade Master again. One dynamic worth mentioning on Amazonia is, of course, generally, with the Blade Master, you'll go for the melee lightning shield at this camp. But if the Undead just brings an Acolyte across the map, he can deny you from ever getting the lightning shield. So the Orc is sort of forced into a suboptimal creep route, which is going for this Berserker, but then they have to go back for items, which makes it a little bit of an inefficient opening creep order for the Orc player, whereas the Undead can very easily go for, you know, this camp first. They can go for this camp into the Kobolds with the 4 skeletons. There's lots of nice creep routes for the Undead. And then in the mid game, it's also very nice for the Undead to bully the Orc off camps if the Shadowhunter doesn't get level 3. So this is why it's a good map for INSUP, and this is his loser's pick. So this is probably best case scenario with the Ted Fiends opener. Thank you, Rabbit. Thank you. Blade Master shop a little bit forward. Does indicate that he wants to go for this Berserker. Or go for the lab. I don't know, but a little bit unorthodox. Peon. That indicates the Lightning Shield, but INSUP is here with the Acolyte. We'll see how this plays out. Is there a way to do the Lightning Shield even though the Acolyte is here? We see. This is the dynamic I'm talking about. The Lightning Shield is not accessible, but Hitman's still going for it regardless. Okay, so no Lightning Shield, but you're still able to creep it, of course, and the Acolyte, maybe going to be denied, is going to be denied. That'd be way too long of a time investment. So INSUP, nice early game with that Acolyte, got what he wanted to out of that Acolyte, and in the meantime, creeping very efficiently himself. Grunt taking a lot of damage, and Hitman gets another Ring of Protection. And now INSUP, you know what? 4 skeletons, he can go to the Kobolds right away. Look for him to do that. Here's the 4 skeletons. And Hitman going towards the Berserker. Of course, this would be level 2 for the Blade Master getting critical strike. And this is, yeah, it's pretty much going as I expected it. This is typically how Amazonia will go for this matchup. And INSUP is going to take the lead, getting the more valuable camps. The question is, will he be able to get the Cobalt Taskmaster? Because, you know, it's the Blade Master could be right around the corner, but Hitman getting a Cloak of Shadows. Not ideal, but it is real. It is the reality we have to live in. INSUP could get a nice clause of attack here. That'd be what we're looking for if you're a fan of Canada. Nicely snagging that whole camp. Took a little bit of damage on his Deathlight, of course, and used a whole Rod of Necromancy, but still picture perfect for INSUP. Hitman, in the meantime, did buy a Circlet from the shop and ran down to harass. And Cold Tower's going up, and INSUP going to the back of his base, blocking with the Ziggurat, but it's just going to be canceled in his face. Maybe not the play that we needed to see there. And there is Dust. There's the Cold Tower getting up, so INSUP will defend here. Speed Scroll out because he saw the Acolytes were going for that Ziggurat cancel. Very unorthodox early game, but Hitman gets out of there. INSUP defends nicely, however. Somebody asked in the chat if I played Magic the Gathering because there's a big scene in the city I live in. I used to when I was a kid, actually. I used to go to there. There is a store, I forget the name of it downtown, though. It's some comic book store that used to sell them. So I did when I was a kid. Actually. Much younger, though. Much younger, like 7, 8 years old. Hitman using his time wisely to snag the corner camp, and this could be Rune Bracers. Lionhorn, second best there, certainly. To probably the Bone Chimes. Grunt, though, gonna fall. First blood for INSUP. Nicely done by him, and the greed kind of pays off for Hitman, but he does have to pay for it. And is it really greed if you have to pay for it, guys? Going for the Berserker. That's a lot of experience, guys. And this is certainly dead. INSUP getting 2 pickoffs. There's a coil. No, there actually isn't a coil. Oh, is there a way to save this? No way. Nicely done by INSUP, and he's almost level 3. Yeah, that was very greedy by Hitman. It doesn't work out. And now, what do you creep with 1 grunt? 1 grunt, one of the Kobolds is already snagged. So you're going to really have to creep this, and you're going to have to creep this, and you're going to have to creep the remnants of these 2 camps. And pretty much, if you're creeping the shop or the Kobolds, INSUP's going to be pressuring you. He's going to be on you. With this level 3 now. What INSUP has to be wary of course, is his Death Knight's a little bit low, so there could be a Speed Scroll Hex Focus Fire. But look, there's really nothing that Hitman can creep with 1 grunt. What are you supposed to creep? He's trying to build a 2nd grunt, but this is going to delay his War Mill, his Bestiary, not allowing him to even buy a Speed Scroll from the shop. Very much good position for INSUP. I'm wondering what his next move's going to be. The best move would be, in my opinion, taking these camps, not allowing the Shadowhunter to creep anything, and that's why we see Hitman going for this unorthodox route because he thinks that INSUP, and he's correct in thinking so, INSUP's going to try to bully him off these camps, and there's no way he'd be able to creep them. Very nicely played by INSUP so far. Picture perfect, I gotta say. He knows what's going on. Hitman's reacting accordingly, but he did go for the risky play, and it didn't pan out for him, and that's all it takes against a player like INSUP. INSUP thinks this is the real blade, but luckily for him, it's not, and Hitman is actually picking up the remnants of this camp. And again, I ask the question, where does he go next? Does he take this? That's going to be very greedy, especially with the skeleton now confirming where Hitman's location is, and INSUP going right across the map. Yeah, Hitman did want to pull the expansion, but INSUP's going to be right here, maybe? Oh, INSUP. Could be a mistake taking this, but still not bad for him. Hitman is going to find the time. He's going to get level 2. He has to creep with his blade because, of course, he's so low on resources to creep in terms of fighting power. So he's gobbling some of the experience with his Blade Master, but the Shadowhunter at least gets that heal wave unlocked. In the meantime, though, INSUP's about to get the Frost Nova unlocked. Tier 3 going to be finished. This is a really good game, I think, for a Dark Ranger or a Pit Lord as opposed to the Crypt Lord of last.
Player's forces are under attack.
And Blade Master here doesn't get the item, doesn't get the experience. Oh, but the Lich is just dead to the solo Blade Master. Hitman finds his way back in. INSUP used the coil aggressively, but then Hitman finds the opening. The level 2 Lich is dead. Oh my god. How that does not often happen. That does not often, yeah, that's rough. That's really rough. INSUP was in such a commanding lead, but now the Shadowhunter is all of a sudden level 3. The Blade Master is on you with Dust now. No orb quite yet, but the tier 3 is done. And now INSUP is the one cowarding in his base, not able to creep up this Lich to level 3. Not able to perhaps contest this expansion if Hitman runs straight down there, although a little bit out of position to do that, I'll admit. Blade Master, coil to secure that kill, and there is orb for a little bit quicker creeping. Interesting to see the orb effect from a melee unit. Yeah, and as I said, now the Lich being dead, maybe Hitman has the timing to snag the gold mine away from INSUP. His Lich will be out pretty soon, but there might be just enough timing for Hitman to get it. Is there an invuln? There I think is an invuln on the blade. There is indeed. Skeleton. Or a ghoul, rather, scouting the expansion, I think, for Hitman. INSUP has been scouting very well. Consistently, actually, recently, he's been scouting very well. It's something he's very much improved, I feel like. His scouting is immaculate. But you're going to need better than that to win this game. He's not in a terrible position, though. He's got his Dark Ranger, his Lich is back out, he's got the 49 supply. Hitman even down in supply right now, so despite that Lich pickoff, INSUP could still certainly win a fight. Not easy for Hitman. All he did was kill a hero. And remember, he did lose 2 units in the early game. Speed scroll in. Where's the Stomp? The Stomp is nowhere to be found. Again, it seems to be hexing that Dark Ranger, I believe. Stomp. Not able to get a kill, though. And INSUP does win the fight. Kills a Grunt, even. A Fiend potentially going to go down. There's no orb for Hitman, though. So the Frost Armor, twice as effective. Hitman runs back home. Not a lot of creeps, just red camps left. Guess who can creep the red camps much more easily? Oh, Hitman actually gets that last hit, gets level 4. Scroll the Beast goes to the Death Knight. But you know who can creep the red camps much easier? It's the Undead. But Hitman's gonna try. Gonna try his best. Pulls it out. Again, no orb, so no real way to slow these golems down as they reproach. And INSUP's here, trying to snag this camp. I doubt either player is going to be successful in their attempts here, but they both got to try. Hitman just juking and jiving and trying to delay as much as he can. He's going back for mana on his Shadowhunter, which is a necessary evil right now. But INSUP's going to use that time to do a little evil himself. He's going to kill possibly 2 Headhunters. It could be a Coil Nova. There is a Talent Portal for INSUP, though, so he can get a couple of kills and get away, perhaps, but... 1 Fiend, Frost Armor Coil traded with a Stomp and a Critical Strike. The Kodo did eat a while ago, in fact. Grunt low, but Heal Wave exchanged for that damage. Hitman still no orb. Very, very important for this Blade Master to go into the back to be able to pick these statues off, be able to pick the Banshees off. But he cannot do so without the Orb of Lightning. And now maybe INSUP has found an opening to go for the red camp, perhaps. But Hitman's not going to let him, and we're going to see this for a while. INSUP's even breaking upkeep early to have the forces to bully Hitman off this camp, and Hitman says, you know what? I'm just going to go for the next red camp. Does he have orb, by the way? Still no orb for Hitman. Still no orb. Nova. Kodo. May not hunger any longer if he eats a coil there, but he's going to possibly be able to get away. Oh, a Heal Wave invested, but still going to die scroll. The Beast used. Destroyer cannot be morphed because there's only one statue. Actually, going to commit the only statue to get rid of the scroll of the Beast, but could lose both statues in that case. Lost the first one. Going to lose the Destroyer potentially if there's an Insnare in the future. Nice stomp. Fiend going to fall. Kodos. Only one is eaten, and the one that's low has not eaten. Banshee falls in the back. Grunt about to fall. Plenty of coils. No Novas, though. Scroll the Beast now used for INSUP, so this is a decent fight. The Raider falls. Did get an Insnare off on the Destroyer up in the air, but there's no follow-up damage. Where's the orb, I say again? I think INSUP's taking this game, guys. Hitman, can he hold on? Buys a mana pop. Probably going to have to speed scroll away in a second here. About to lose another Headhunter. Heal Wave is there, but not quite on time. Blade Master trying to kill a couple units in the back, but there's always going to be a coil, at least for another 3. Fiend falls. Somehow a Fiend falls, but a Grunt is surrounded as it looks. Banshee going to fall to the Raider. Hitman's doing what he can, but INSUP is trading favorably. If he saves that Banshee, Walker comes for the back of Spirit Lake. Surround on the Shadowhunter. INSUP, you mad lad, but there is an invul on the Shadowhunter. That's very nice from INSUP. I want to talk about that after this fight, what he just did there. Very, very nice. But the Shadowhunter taking a lot of damage. Spirit Link on all 3 heroes important because, again, I say, cannot lose your heroes as the Orc. You can lose the units, but you cannot lose the heroes. There's even a world in which Hitman can, pretty easily hold with just his heroes here. But what INSUP did there with the surround, if you notice throughout this whole series, a very long series, right, a best of 5, we're in map 3, he hasn't been going for surrounds at all. And then out of nowhere, in these big fights, he hasn't been going for surrounds, he just boom surrounds the Shadowhunter. And that could have net him a Shadowhunter kill if there wasn't an invuln ready for Hitman there. It could have net him a Shadowhunter kill, and that's because Hitman wasn't playing around the surrounds. He wasn't ready for them. And if INSUP waits and waits and waits and goes for the perfect opportunity for that surround, he could net himself a hero kill just like right there, potentially. But the Fiend's going to fall. Coil used on the Banshee. That Fiend does fall. Still no orb. Saying it again. Still no orb because Hitman, he just needs units, he needs mana, he cannot really afford the investment of 375 gold for that. Mana pot for INSUP, even buy a second one of those, but of course he has been broken upkeep, being taxed quite a bit throughout this third map. Alright, Hitman going for the red camp. Both players, in fact, going for the red camp. This does favor Hitman, because of course Hitman's in no shape to win a fight if INSUP did want to bully him off this camp, right? So, although INSUP is in the lead right now, them both creeping the red camps favors Hitman. Makes sense? I think that makes sense. But still, the items could really turn the tables. If both players creep the red camps, it doesn't matter if one gets, a terrible item and one gets an aura, right? At least Crystal Ball does not drop any longer. See what Hitman gets, who will be the first to snag this red camp, and he will get Cloak of Flames. Not bad, but, not an aura again. Would have been terrible on the side of INSUP to get Cloak of Flames, but on the Torn Chieftain, not too bad. Hood of Cunning, more intelligence. The Lich actually much better than it was last game, so INSUP's probably not too sad about that. A couple more intelligence points. How many invulns does Hitman have? 1, 2, and double heal scroll. INSUP has 1. Would love to see a second one, but again, he's been broken upkeep for so long, whereas Hitman hasn't been getting taxed. He's been getting 10 out of 10 the entire time. So, You know, Hitman's going to pull ahead, at least economically in the long run. Going to be able to maybe break upkeep and go higher than 60, whereas iNSUP maybe going to be stuck on 60 for quite a while if he wants to get more items in the way of mana pots invulns. Hitman sharking around now that he has that orb. He has orb, dust, invuln. That's the trifecta for going for reinforcements. You can wait outside the crypt for reinforcements. But the Acolyte is all he finds, and the Acolyte's trying to build an expansion. I've been mentioning it throughout the day. You expand, you push the base, or you sit in your own base. iNSUP's choosing to expand when the map is fully crept up, and you know what? Hitman responds with a counter expansion. We could be going for a while here, guys. Both players very passive. Who this favors, I do not know, but Hitman will have the earlier second base. We'll see who's able to get up that 80 supply. Let's look at the upgrades while we can. It is 1-1 for the Fiends, and 0-0. 0-0 for Hitman. An armor upgrade maybe would be decent, but of course, with Raiders, with Headhunters, don't really want to invest in attack upgrades too often. 0-2 would be not bad. Hitman has the lumber for it, and he's not broken upkeep yet, so this is a great time for him to get upgrades. But maybe another invuln could be the smarter investment for now. Expansion up, and that's the strength of the Tiny Great Hall, and iNSUP maybe is losing his timing because here comes Hitman breaking upkeep. Going across the map. He's down in fighting army, though, Hitman. He's down by 14 fighting army because this 5 supply he's broken into is 6 in the production buildings. Being caught out. Dust is what I'm talking about. The trifecta. The orb, the dust, the invuln. You can cut off reinforcements and then speed scroll away, but can iNSUP find a opening to coil Nova down a unit? The Walker potentially going to be nuked down, but a heal wave. So that iNSUP resists that urge. Destroyer in the air has morphed. Goldmine could be cancelled, but Blade Master needs to be back home to keep the army safe. A Sapper maybe could be purchased, but the Blade Master, again, really didn't have time to do any plays like that. Army of iNSUP is strong, but Hitman is evening up the supply. It was once a disadvantage, now it's only, 2, which really isn't a disadvantage. Oh, how the turntables. Yes, Lotto. It's one of my favorite sayings. Alright, a little bit of a janky Congo line to start the fight. iNSUP much better, able to nuke down a Raider. The Walkers in the front, not ideal. The Illusions are going to soak up quite a bit of health, actually. The Walkers in the front are masters, so they can revive each other. Not if they both die. The Destroyer netted in the front, going to be focused down by the Headhunters. The Kodos haven't eaten. Only one has. That Destroyer falls. Second Destroyer falls. Oh, the Fiends are taking a lot of damage now, too. The Kodo that didn't eat gets focused down, but still saved to the back. The Banshees are kind of focusing the Kodo and running to the front, and it seemed like a great position at the start for iNSUP, but now Hitman seems to be pulling ahead a bit. The supply advantage is still with the Undead, but not for long, especially with these Fiends falling. A Raider being nuked. Is there a heal wave? Level 5 Blade Master, and here comes the 300 critical strikes we've all been waiting for. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There it is, not. Oh, it's a miss. Banshee's pretty strong unit. Coil on the Fiend. Kodo goes down. Perhaps. Oh, it's saved with 12 health to the back. iNSUP getting some pickoffs to the latter half of this fight. But again, the heroes are alive. And again, the expansion just now being saturated for iNSUP. A couple Banshees falling towards the tail end, but iNSUP does hold the door for now. Walker falls. Gonna have to be revived, but there's no Walker to revive it. And expansion not yet saturated for iNSUP. Is he building Acolytes? He is now. But Hitman's going to pull ahead. We're going to see him pull ahead quite a bit in gold. We see he's over 1,300 extra mined from his second base. Blade Master was nuked down, but he's always been safe with this invuln. He's had this invuln the whole game. I mean, Hitman's very rarely been forced into these invulns early in the fight. This is why you'll very often see people go for a Coil Nova on the Blade Master right away. It's not because they think they're going to get a kill. It's because in the later half of the fights, the Blade Master doesn't have the invuln, so he can't take risks by going in the back for statues. But that's something iNSUP really hasn't been doing, and maybe he has a reason for this, but the heroes have been so safe for Hitman this entire series. He's never really been at risk of losing one. But iNSUP holding. If you can get a Nerubian, this is going to be very hard to break for the Orc. 55 against 62. Hitman has pulled ahead. The mains are out. iNSUP 100 left because you remember that play at the beginning when he blocked with the Ziggurats for the blade. Cost him 100 gold. A little bit behind. But his gold mine will run dry. Get a little bit back from that unsummon. And here comes Hitman. Wants to fight before the Nerubian's up. Tomb of Relics would be great for INSUP here. Nice nuke, though. The nukes are getting powerful. But the Stomp is also strong, and that's a pretty good Stomp. The Spirit Walker's in the back of the Disenchant the Curse. The Acolytes come in. Gonna be able to help the fight. Maybe gonna be able to use for a Dark Ritual or a Death Pact in the future. The Kodo hasn't eaten yet. Gonna have to run away. Probably just gonna die, in fact. Spirit Link saves it again with a clutch Spirit Link. But the Blade Master putting in work is cursed. The Stomp is decent. INSUP, can you hold on the Nerubian? 50% down the Destroyer. A nice coil to save it. Level 3 coil is going to save that Destroyer for a while, but it eventually falls. The Stomp is good again. Kodo has not eaten, but it's still given the aura. The oh so important aura. Spirit Walker falls. The second one's still alive to maybe revive his friend, but out of mana. Hitman saving everything to the back, saving even another unit to the back, but he's running dry on mana. Only one heal wave. And there is a couple more coils left. Maybe got to use one to save that Fiend. Not quite on time. Alright, Banshee to the back. Gonna fall. The Fiend potentially gonna die. 2 Raiders being healthy here is such a big deal for Hitman. But, again, I say, surprise Coil Nova when there is mana on the Shadowhunter. Could be a great play, but there's still an invuln. These invulns have not yet been forced, so Hitman can happily stay here even lacking Shadowhunter mana, and he doesn't have to fear for his heroes' lives. He could just chill out. He's losing units, yeah, but his heroes are safe. That's what matters. And then stop losing another Destroyer. Is saturating his gold mine now, so he's mining equally with Hitman, but Banshees are falling, and we're down to the similar situation we saw in Last Refuge, where there's just undead heroes left. No statues, Banshees falling. Coils used defensively, which is the right play on paper, but if you don't get a hero kill here, probably not going to get a hero kill this whole series. Destroyer falls, Spirit Link used to save that Spirit Walker, and level 5 on the Shadowhunter. These Orc heroes are insane. We're going to probably see a Stomp before there's a coil, though. Nicely saving that Lich. Invuln may be forced if there's a Stomp. Nicely dodging the Stomp with the Invuln. Korak 5 with the 42 months. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. Long while. It's over 3 years. Almost 3.5. It is 3.5, in fact. Appreciate you. Acolytes are here. Is there Death Pact or anything? Dark Ritual? There is Dark Ritual, so Acolytes could come in handy for INSUP, who has now bought 2 potions of mana. But Hitman, 49 supply under upkeep the entire time. Broke upkeep initially to push the expansion. Other than that, has never really broken upkeep. Got fully efficient mining from his 1 and 2 bases this entire game, really. INSUP, do you have a play? Again, I say, Hero Nuke might be the way. Sorry for the rhyme. Christ. No creeps left on the map. Hitman is searching, sharking, looking for a kill. Maybe the Acolyte could be on the menu, because you might as well pick up what you can. He's waiting for reinforcements because he knows INSUP has to either protect his Acolytes or his reinforcements, and this is going to snag Hitman potentially a kill. A couple of crits is all it takes. If the coil is late, the Fiend will be dead. Silence on the Shadowhunter. Nova. Statue falls immediately, though. These heroes are really out of control for Hitman. And they're not bad for INSUP, right? But they're just not really what he needs. He needs some sort of an army. He needs statues in the back. He needs Banshees to be alive for longer than 2 seconds. But Hitman is not allowing any of those things to happen. There is plenty of coils left. Maybe he's going to be able to kill that Kodo. It has not eaten, so not the most crucial target right now, but the aura, of course, will be important to get rid of. Kodo, speed scrolling, going for the Devour. Heal wave to save it for now. Does get the Fiend, but the Mana Pot is going to secure that kill, perhaps, unless he wants to save the Destroyer. Lich putting in work, but the Blade Master's putting in more. Putting in overtime, even. And oh, this could be a kill. There's a Stomp, don't forget. Goes for a coil aggressively before falling, but there's a Hex, Frost Armor, Windwalk. There's another Stomp 2 in level 6. Death Knight dead. GG 3-0 for Hitman. And he wins ESL Cup number 64. Americas wins $100, 10 EPT points. INSUP out at second, winning 5 EPT points. That makes for 20 in total for the Canadians. So not a bad run of 3 cups for INSUP, getting 2 second places and 1 first place. But Hitman, First time playing, first time winning. Well played to him. 3-0. Drops, I think, 1 map the whole tournament. Lost 1 map to Sheik, but very well played, man. iNSUP was on the brink a couple of those maps, though. He had the supply advantage, I think all 3, but just not quite finding the timing. Hitman is so good at delaying these fights, finding ways of picking off reinforcements, speed scrolling away, creeping camps that iNSUP doesn't expect, and he just buys enough time to be in a position to win fight after fight after fight. And, you know, if you win 3 fights in a row, you win 3 games in a row, and you win the grand finals of ESL Cup. That's all it takes. Well done to him. Congrats to him. And that's it. That is it. That is it for today. GG's.